Today on the Diz List, we invite my son to the show and find out his Walt Disney World favorites.
Welcome to the Diz List, the podcast that ranks everything in Walt Disney World. I am Nick.
And I'm Rob, and welcome to episode 81, where I invite my son to the show and find out his Walt Disney World favorites.
Your son rocks. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, he's a good kid. He's a good kid. He's it's funny, like having a kid, and anyone who's a parent and listening knows what I'm talking about. It's such an interesting ride. Because in your mind, you think, this is what it's going to be. Like, I'm going to have this big old bruiser football player kid, and he's not. But he's great, and I don't want him to be anything else. Like, that, you have this idea, but then he's become such a quirky, cool, great kid.
He's what I would imagine you were like.
Very similar.
In at his age, but yet maybe smaller, right? Not smaller. How do I describe? Like, he's not as, I would expect that you at his age, so he's a freshman.
Yeah.
So I would expect that you at his age were like linebacker style.
Not quite yet.
No?
No,
Okay.
that started happening around like senior year, freshman year of college.
All right.
Then I filled out.
Okay.
But he's taller and leaner. He gets that from my wife's side of the family.
Yeah, he's definitely tall.
Yeah.
What I find interesting, so for listeners, just so you get an idea, Rob's daughter is a junior.
Yep.
Rob's son is a freshman. My son is in 6th grade. My daughter is in 3rd. And I will tell you that our kids, oddly enough, are like really good friends. Like my son, Cooper, who is on the show, is really good friends with your son.
Yeah. 6th grader and a 9th grader.
And my daughter, who's a 3rd grader, is like really good friends with your daughter.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of, it's cool.
It is cool.
But like when my daughter's walking, and my daughter is completely the antithesis of my son. Like just very out. And I feel like your kids can kind of be
my daughter's
the
quiet one, and my son's the talker.
Yeah,
he's the outgoing one.
Right.
Yeah.
Like my daughter is like your son. Yep. It's the second born.
Yeah.
Is what it comes down to.
Yeah.
But that's why I think that.
But I'm firstborn though.
Wow. I mean, I am too.
Yeah. But we're talkers, I guess. I think we canceled our point there. Anyway, so the episode with him was great. We did it a couple weeks ago. I think you were on the road that weekend, maybe?
I can't remember why
I can't remember
what was
either.
going on, but like
it was just
random. It was just remember, now I know. It was when Arendelle, you guys were watching the Frozen stuff.
Yeah.
And you were like, hey, we need an episode anyway.
Right, and him and I were going off on how short the ride was. And
yeah, and
I said, okay, you're going to make... I think I had him. Yeah, I did. I had to make a list for all 4 parks and tell me what he liked. I said it could be food, it could be a ride, it could be anything, a show. So you'll get to hear kind of his favorites. I was surprised by a couple of them.
Listen, I'm pumped. Just like I now know how you felt when I was like, yeah, no, Cooper and I will record.
Yeah.
Now I know because I'm like, I can't wait for Wednesday.
Yeah.
I want to hear this.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's gonna be fun. So you were talking about something about villains?
Yeah, and this is kind of a spoiler. And the joke is Nick likes to call me the spoiler, and I've been better about this. And I since he's been ripping on me for it, and well deserved, to be fair. And our friends at our lunch table do the same thing. Yes, we kind of have a lunch table, and we'll be talking about a show, and I'll think it's something that's not a spoiler, and Nick's like, you just ruined that whole thing. I'm like, you're right. I thought it was something vague enough.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm going to totally spoil something right here.
That's okay.
So
for this, it's totally okay.
The Disney Dish podcast with Jim Hill and Len Testa.
Love it.
Me too. Love it. They have the dorkiest dad joke sense of humor. If you're into that, great. If you're not into that, there's still some really good information on the show.
Fast forward. Extra 15 seconds past Len telling his joke.
Yep. But what they were talking about, Jim is he's a journalist or former journalist, depending on how you look at it. I still think what he's doing on the podcast is journalism. But They were talking about California Adventure, and they were talking about the current Incredicoaster. And when they first opened California Adventure, pretty much everything was themed to California.
Yeah.
And they didn't receive great feedback. They sort of, I mean, there was basically saying we need more characters.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
We need to inject some more Disney into this.
Of course. Yeah.
So one of the first thoughts that they were going to do to the roller coaster that is now the Incredicoaster was called California Screamin', which is kind of cool. He also talks about why they have those pipes that the tube, no, they call them tubes, that you go up through. It has to do with sound for the neighborhood. It's really interesting. When you listen to it, you'll appreciate that. Also, side note, he says this is for the math nerds, and he does all this like math stuff at the beginning of the podcast.
Well, now I've got to go back and listen.
I'm like, oh my god, Nick's gonna love this stuff. It was cool, but
yeah, Rob told me to do my homework. I'll admit I didn't do my homework. I got a 0 for homework today because Rob was like, "Did you listen?" I was like, "Nope." So, oh well. All right, I screwed up. I'll listen to it later.
But the cool part, and I haven't even gotten to the best part yet, is that when they were retheming the park, or not really retheming it, because a lot of it is still California based, but they wanted to do something to California Screamin'. And the first concept, and they have it all ready to go, was going to be a villain's coaster.
Oh man.
So as soon as they said that, I go, oh, maybe the reason they're covering this
copy paste.
They could, because
Control-C, Control-V,
right
into, for those of you who are computer nerds.
Yeah.
I'm an Apple guy.
Apple's Command and PC is Control, yes.
Command-C, Command-V.
So when you're entering Pixar Pier, okay, it's kind of a short walk over to the Incredicoaster. What you'll see is an arch that says Pixar Pier.
Yeah.
Now, what Jim explains, and this is so cool, you were going to love this. When you enter that part of the park, there is a giant Ursula whose mouth you walk through to enter. How cool would that be?
Isn't
that cool?
I would, yeah.
But then it gets better. Then you get on the villain's coaster, and you go through 3 mouths through the course of the coaster.
Is Monstro one of the mouths?
No, one of them. No, but that's at Disneyland.
Yeah, I know.
One of them. The first one is a Maleficent dragon form. You go through that mouth. Then, and I remember this being weird because it was 2 snakes in a row. Then it was Jafar as the cobra, and then it was Kaa from Jungle Book.
I mean, okay. So I'm just going to throw this out there.
Yeah.
Jungle Book is not represented.
No, we love Jungle Book.
Yeah.
And same with Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Those two, I think, are so underrated.
And Jafar, obviously Aladdin's represented, but not well enough, in my opinion. Because I love that movie.
Yeah.
Isn't
that crazy?
Oh,
man. Wouldn't that be cool? So if you think the way the Incredicoaster is laid out, it's basically kind of like...
That's a great coaster.
It's long and thin. So the space it takes up is kind of... Think of it like a race...
It's narrow.
Not a racetrack. Like a high school track field.
Yeah, it's
right?
narrow. It's long and narrow.
So if you think of the way that it's set up back there, kind of in that Beyond Thunder Mountain area, it would fit perfectly. And think of it as the backdrop behind everything. How great would that look? It's another people eater. It's going to bring people to that far part of the park. It's going to spread out the crowds.
Well, I mean, last week we talked about spending Disney's dollars.
Yeah.
I still want Cars Land, and then beyond Cars Land,
you can do both. This. Yeah, I really think you can do both.
Man, you just got me so excited.
I know.
I love it.
And then I don't know if I said this on the episode or I thought it, because I think I didn't say this, but I thought it while you were talking. I didn't want to interrupt you.
Okay.
When you go on Radiator Springs Racers, people say it's a clone of Test Track. There's one particular part where the Mack truck comes at you.
Right,
you know. But I honestly think the rest of it is different enough that you could have both of those rides at Walt Disney World, and it would be completely fine.
Would it be a Toyota dealership at the end?
Sure.
I'm just wondering, like,
no,
I'm sorry.
No, at the end they're gonna sell off the old the minivans.
Oh my gosh!
No, they brought them back though.
They brought them back. Yeah, the new Traverses or whatever. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. We're getting off track here.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Listen, I think those are all great ideas.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's a hint Don't you think it might be a hint? Like Jim's just kind of throwing it out
I'm
there?
going to wait for, we talked about a random, we will not name him guy named Tom. I'll wait for this random guy named Tom to possibly say something. Or maybe let's call his nephew Braden.
Yeah.
And if Tom or Braden say it, I might believe it a little bit more.
Yeah. You just picked random names,
yeah,
right?
totally random.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not.
Like, I'm trying to think of what a good, like, the first thing that comes to mind is we won't use Smith. Like, the second name that comes to mind, like Corliss.
Yeah, something like that.
It's like the first two things that I can even think of, So
no, I'm excited. What I'm really excited for is to get to the second half of the show.
Yeah.
Because I can't wait to hear your son on the show.
Yeah, I could predict a few of the things, but there were a lot of stuff that I'm like, wow, really? And he's like, yep, I love it. And I was kind of surprised.
And I think what's cool about this too is that like you'll get a glimpse into, so you got a glimpse into my life where my son Cooper is like all about, the food side of things. He loves rides too, but like, and
this was a mix.
This is totally, yeah. So
a little bit of food, mostly rides, some shows, a little of everything.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I really am. The halftime show today is brought to us by our friend Stacy, who is currently down in Disney World, and she's rocking some of our favorite merch from magicmerch.art. She is wearing a Dole Whip shirt.
Yeah.
And
hand drawn by me.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. She posted a picture. I was like, you know what? She needs to be our sponsor.
Yeah, and it looks awesome.
It looks
like it comes out great. Like
it pops.
I haven't seen that one printed yet. I've seen quite a few of them out and around in the parks, but that's not one I've seen a picture of yet. So if anybody has them and anybody has any of our designs from magicmerch.art and you're wearing them, we want to see the picture and we'll post it.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll absolutely repost it. So if you get one of our shirts, you wear it to the parks. Even if you don't wear it to the parks, we'll repost it. Why not?
Yeah, who cares? The other thing I wanted to say, beyond the fact that Stacy is our patron of the week, if you will, is that if you haven't listened to Rope Drop and Park Hop before,
oh geez, that's a huge one.
Yeah,
we should have started with this. Yeah, this is awesome.
So, first off, we are honored every time that we're asked to be on that show.
They are pros.
Yeah, and they're like we like to think of ourselves as like podcasters and good podcasters. They are like legit. They're the real deal.
Yep.
So we love whenever we get to hang out with them and talk to them.
Yep.
But last Friday they released their episode that we guested on, where we did. It was the second episode, right? Because the first time we were with them, we did
what Walt Disney World does best,
and this last week we did what Disneyland does best.
Right.
They've been guests on our show. This is the second time we've been on their show. We absolutely love recording with Katie and Aaron. If you can go check them out, Rope Drop and Park Hop, you can check them out on Instagram, look them up. Trust me, you won't have a hard time finding them because they're going to be like the first of the search when you look them up.
They're very good. They're happy and funny and friendly. And
we like to say they're like the female versions of us because they're like two moms who do it.
Yeah.
We're two dads who do it. So, yeah, it's cool.
They don't have as many dorky jokes as us, though, I don't think.
No.
They're like funny and upbeat. Like
they're way more professional than us.
Yes.
So Stacy W.
Shout out to Stacy. Shout out to Katie and Aaron, who are great.
And go visit magicmerch.art.
Yes.
All right.
And to cap it all off before the break, go Bells. Welcome back. Today is kind of a fun special episode. I have my son on the show today. This is my son, Bennett. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great.
Is this weird or what?
It kind of is, but I'm excited.
Normally, when we record the show, you're in the other room.
Yeah, I'm right outside of it.
So you've heard a lot of our episodes before.
Oh, yeah. It's like a sneak peek.
I would guess that you've listened to a total of 0 episodes through a podcast, some kind of interface, right? Probably 0 because you listen to them live right here.
Yeah. I mean, I can already hear it right outside, so I'm just kind of chilling.
You're our live audience, even though people don't know that's actually a live audience. So Nick had his son, Cooper, on the show, and this is my son, Bennett. He's going to be on the show today. So let's do a little bit of background to give the listeners kind of an idea of how old are you? Let's start with that. How old are you?
I'm 14 years old.
Do you know how many times you have been to Disney World?
Probably
What's your
like
guess?
Around 7 or 8.
It's 8.
It is 8?
You've been 8 times.
Wow.
Yeah, you've been 8 times. And how many times have you been out to Disneyland?
Once.
Just one.
Just once.
Okay. Well, the format that Nick and Cooper did, and you listen to that episode. That's
I
true.
did,
You do
yeah.
listen to the episodes because we listen to that together. So we definitely do listen to the episodes together. So I'm going to do a couple things before we start, and then you have a list that you made.
Yes, I do.
Now your list is what? Top 3. We didn't want to do all 5 because we don't want to be talking for hours.
Yeah.
You did top 3 what?
Top 3 just activities in general in all of the parks.
Okay. All right. We'll get to that in a minute. But before we start, I have this question for you.
Yes.
In April, we went out to California and we got to experience Disneyland. It was my first time experiencing it. Now, for somebody who is only used to the Magic Kingdom, how did Disneyland compare to the Magic Kingdom? How would you compare the two?
So I noticed a definite difference in size. I mean, it was a lot smaller. Even the castle, very tiny. It was a big difference because I'm so used to the ginormous castle in Orlando, but it's just. I mean, it's still big, but it's a lot smaller. It's like Magic Kingdom essentially, but I'd say the same funness, if that's even a word.
Sure. Well, it's basically the same park, give or take a couple things.
Yeah, they remind me a lot of the same park. It's a lot of fun. I like California Adventure more though.
Okay. Well, that was going to be my next question, so you just answered it.
Oh.
Disneyland or California Adventure?
California Adventure.
I think I chose that too when I did that episode. There was a lot of really good stuff in California Adventure.
Oh, it was great.
Okay, next. Just the Florida parks, so there's 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
How would you rank from 4, 3, 2, 1? Start with your number 4 if you had to rank the Florida parks. What is number 4?
So probably my number 4. This used to be my number 1, but my number 4 is Hollywood Studios.
Okay. That's mine too, and I think that's Nick's also.
Yeah.
What about number 3?
Number 3 is probably Magic Kingdom. No,
Okay.
not Magic Kingdom. Sorry, Animal Kingdom.
Animal Kingdom.
Uh,
Yep, that's the same with me.
Number 2 is Magic Kingdom,
Okay.
and number 1 is Epcot.
Yeah, I think that's the same list as Nick. I would switch Epcot and Magic Kingdom. Magic Kingdom is my favorite, and I think that's your sister's favorite too.
Yeah.
And I think your mother's favorite is Epcot. Okay, now let's get to your list here. So you put together some lists for me,
Yes.
and you did a top 3 things in every park. Now, by things, it's kind of a general, right?
Yeah.
It kind of includes everything. It'll include shows, restaurants, pretty much everything at that particular park.
Anything you can just do.
Okay. So let's start at the bottom of your list, and we'll start with Disneyland is the bottom for you think?
Yeah.
All right. So let's start with Disneyland. Let's start with number 3. What is your number 3 favorite thing at Disneyland?
So, my number 3 is Indiana Jones.
That's your number 3?
That is my number 3.
That's a great one. What did you like about Indiana Jones?
I especially loved. I watched those movies growing up, and I didn't have that chance because the ride isn't in Orlando at all. And I finally got to go down and experience it. So it was completely new to me, which made me automatically like it. And it was just, there was so much going on in the ride, and it was awesome. You're just turning the entire time. Something's new popping up in your face. There's just crazy stuff that you'll see inside. Like you'll see the bug wall from
Yep.
Temple of Doom
Yep.
and the ginormous skull and all this other stuff.
There is a lot of Temple of Doom in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, you see the giant boulder, which is Raiders of the Lost Ark. I would say there's
Yeah.
probably the least amount of Last Crusade. Least amount of that. It's mostly the first 2 movies.
Mm-hmm.
And not the most recent ones. What do you have for number 2? What's your number 2 thing at Disneyland?
My number 2 is Space Mountain.
Okay. Do you remember it being better than the Space Mountain in Florida, and why?
So I like this Space Mountain a lot better than the one in Magic Kingdom.
Do you remember why it was better?
Well, it was really smooth.
I think they may have redone the track.
Yeah, it was. You still can't see anything, but it was just like the turns weren't as like hard. It was just it felt like you're going straight the whole time, but like your body is moving. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, that was a great ride. I really enjoyed it. I would definitely put that one on my list as well for Disneyland. I'm trying to think if there's anything else different. I feel like it was a little brighter. It wasn't quite pitch black in there. And then the cars were a little different. Instead of single file, you could sit next to someone on those cars. It was a little different.
Which my mom enjoyed.
Yeah, yeah, because she enjoys clutching your knee.
Yes, the first time I ever was on Space Mountain in Magic Kingdom, my mom was behind me. She had to sit in the middle because it was single file. And my sister was behind her, so she's just grabbing onto both of us because she hates the one in Magic Kingdom. So she's just holding on to us and like, please don't fall, please don't fall, please don't fall.
She's a good sport. She goes on it.
But
she really liked the one in Disneyland.
Yeah, because of how smooth it was.
Yeah.
So that's another plus.
All right, what'd you have for your number one at Disneyland Park? What's number one?
So this is probably a very unpopular opinion. But
maybe not. What do you have?
It is my favorite, Mr. Toad.
It was great.
I
love Mr. Toad.
Oh my gosh, it was so much fun.
What about it did you think was cool about Mr. Toad? Because a lot of people kind of make it this sort of this hit, and it's not really that great. I mean, if you look at the total cost of making Mr. Toad's Wild Ride versus the current rides that they're making now, like Tron.
Oh my God!
So,
you could build.
Describe your opinion of it, because I grew up when I was your age. I would go on that ride, and I thought it was so much fun when I was little. So, what did you like about it?
So, first of all, the wait time, it's very short. Well, for us, it was, but I got to go on it with my sister, and usually when I ride a ride with my sister, and it's just us two, we go bonkers. We go bonkers, and we both had this wheel that we could turn, and
that's right.
Even if we were turning right, we would turn that wheel left, and we were just screaming the whole time. We were being like, "Oh my gosh, there's a train about to hit us!" And the entire time we're just screaming and screaming, and we made it so much fun. Like I got off that ride, I could have went on it at least 30 more times. Yeah, it was so much fun.
It's a fun ride. Yeah, that ride in Florida used to be where Winnie the Pooh is.
Yes.
And then they put in Winnie the Pooh, which is, it's popular, I guess.
Winnie the Pooh's fun too.
It's a way more popular franchise for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's Disneyland.
Yes.
All right. Let's move to Disney California Adventure.
All right.
What are your three favorite things there?
So, my number 3 isn't a ride. It's a show.
I think I know what you're gonna say.
So when we were it's in the Avengers campus.
Yeah, I think we did a live call. Nick and I went live while we were waiting to get into this attraction. Is that right?
Yes, I was on that live.
Yeah.
It is the Doctor Strange show.
That was fun.
It was so much fun.
I think we sat right up in the front. We were right in front of him, weren't we?
Mm-hmm. I got a video of the whole thing. It was fantastic.
Explain the show for people who haven't seen it.
So
what is it?
It's a magic show, but it's ran by Doctor Strange, and he'll do this crazy stuff relating to what he does in his movies. He'll bring out guests. He'll pull up different people.
Do you remember who the special guest was?
Yes, he picks someone in the crowd, and he goes, "Who is your favorite Marvel character?" And that's
a pretty good accent.
This lady says Thor, and he just pulls out Thor, like out of backstage.
I don't know how they did that. I don't know if that was planned or not.
I don't know if each superhero was back there, or he was just gonna say, "Nope, pick a character with a hammer."
Yep.
But it was really funny.
It was a good show.
I think he ended up like talking to Harper at one point. Remember that?
Yes.
It was a lot of fun.
I'm not sure I would put that in my top 3, but I'm glad that you liked it. And I'm glad you
I
put
enjoyed
that
it
on
a
your list.
lot.
Good.
It was It kept my attention span going,
Good.
which is a plus.
And it was at the end of the night, so you needed a little boost at the end of the night.
Yeah, it made me laugh.
What do you have for number 2 at Disney California Adventure?
So for my number 2, we're gonna be staying in the Avengers campus.
Okay.
And I did not go on.
You didn't do Tower of Terror. Well, it's not Tower of Terror.
Well,
there.
it's
It's
the-
Mission Breakout.
Yeah, I was too scared to do that.
It was excellent.
Yeah, I don't like those type of rides because I did it with my dad when we went to Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, you tried it out at least.
Yeah,
you were brave. You tried it.
I was clutching onto his arm the whole time.
Yeah, your
so-
sister doesn't like drop rides
Yeah,
either.
I
That's
won't be
fine.
doing that
You like
again.
what you like.
But my number 2 is the Spider-Man ride.
That's cool.
I got to flex my video game ability when I went in there.
Yes, you did.
Got the high score out of everyone.
You did.
No big deal. Even beat my mom. That's a big
She's
deal.
very competitive on these
Yes.
rides, especially on the Buzz Lightyear ride.
Gosh, I can never beat her on that. She got the max score that one time.
She did.
Yeah, we got a picture of it. I always tried. I can never do it. But
What else about Spider-Man?
I
What did you think about when, before we actually go in the ride, you watch that little video and Peter Parker comes out? What did you think of that?
I thought that was really cool. I didn't expect for that to happen. I thought we were just gonna go on the ride and like, here we go. But it was a lot better than I thought it was gonna be. The one con I have about this ride is your wrists and how you have to do the web shooter
Motion.
movement.
Yeah. Well, it's good. This is an audio medium, so you're describing it. That's good.
So, and it'll hurt at the end. Like somehow your wrist is gonna be sore because you're just pulling your wrist back every like 2 milliseconds, just trying to hit.
And
all
they
the
have
spiders.
sensors that recognize when you're shooting your web.
Yeah. Did you have to like put on a wristband or anything when you did this, or no? Or
No.
Does it just look at your wrist?
Yeah, I'm curious how that works and if there's a different motion that would work. Like, does your hand have to actually be upside down, or could you turn it the other way with your palm down and do it that way?
Yeah. Could you just like punch the air?
Maybe. I'm not sure how it works.
But,
We need to have an Imagineer on to ask.
It was a lot of fun. I just like the aspect. I've always loved Spider-Man growing up as a kid too. So
that was number 2. What was your number 1 favorite thing at California Adventure?
my number one favorite thing, we went on this twice. I think it is the Incredicoaster.
It was great.
It was phenomenal.
It was great. Did you enjoy going upside down?
Yeah, that was one of my first times I ever went out upside down on a ride, and it was incredible. I had a ton of fun.
It was The Incredibles was incredible.
It was, yes, the Incredicoaster was incredible. Yeah.
So describe kind of the storyline on the ride and how it works.
So you're going on, and all of a sudden, they lose Jack again,
Right.
and they don't know where he is. So the entire ride, they're just
There's narration and there's speakers behind you, right?
Mhm, yeah, because like in the beginning, when it counts down 3, 2, 1, it's actually Dash saying that, and he counts it way too fast.
And then the splash kind of shoots up when you take off.
Yeah, I don't think you get wet though. A little bit.
No, not really. It kind of shoots off to the side of you.
Yeah, but you end up trying to go and find Jack the entire time, and you'll go through these tunnels where they're using their superpowers and trying to catch him. Like Elastigirl will try to stretch and grab Jack, who's like using his laser eyes.
Do I remember this right? At the end of the ride, do you smell cookies?
I don't remember.
I don't know. I don't know if I just heard that or that actually is real.
It might be, because at the end we see him like as a ginormous baby eating his cookies.
Yeah, that part was pretty funny too.
I laughed.
Yeah, it was a great ride. Definitely a great ride. So that's your number 1. All right, we're going to bump all the way over to Orlando, Florida, to Walt Disney World.
Mhm.
And we're going to start at the bottom for you. And
Yes.
the bottom for you, actually, it's kind of interesting. Because I think California Adventure is sort of similar in a lot of ways to Hollywood Studios.
Yes.
But I honestly, and I think you would agree, I prefer kind of the layout and California Adventure over Hollywood Studios.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's California Adventure. Just the vibe of it is really nice.
Yeah, I agree. Because it has kind of that woodsy area off to the side. You have Pixar Pier,
Mhm.
Cars Land,
Cars Land is great.
Avengers Campus, and then the Main Street area
Mhm.
is the part that's very similar to Hollywood because obviously the whole park is themed after California.
Mhm.
So let's switch then to Hollywood Studios in Florida. And what is your third favorite thing in Hollywood Studios?
So my number 3 in Hollywood Studios. I just realized I spelled this wrong.
It's okay.
People
can't see your spelling on a podcast, so you're good.
Yeah. The Rock and Roller Coaster.
That's your number 3.
That is my number 3.
Would you like it better if they rethemed it to the Muppets?
Oh my gosh, I'm just thinking about that now.
Yeah, Nick and I talk about that pretty often about how we have this great idea that they could just retheme it to the Muppets, and it could be, Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem rethemed. Wouldn't that be great?
That would honestly be awesome.
The ride just stays the same, and it's just sort of rethemed,
Yeah, I love the Muppets. I always have. I have Kermit shoes too, which they're my fave.
And what do you like about? We'll forget the. We don't want to get off on a tangent here with the Muppet stuff, but let's talk about Rock and Roller Coaster. What about it do you like?
So I usually don't like these type of rides, but this one stood out to me for some reason. But
because it's in the dark.
It is in the dark, but you do, and so it's not completely pitch black, because if it was completely pitch black, I don't think I would like that very much. But you'll see, like, road signs and just is it Aerosmith?
Yeah, not my favorite group, but
yeah,
it's okay.
I don't know why they picked them, but it's understandable. But they're just yelling at you throughout the whole ride, and they're like, we got to get there, because the limo has to take you over to, where are they going again?
To the concert. I think they have to get over to the concert.
But that ride has upside downs too.
It does.
It's nice.
It's hard to tell because you're in the dark.
But it's just a nice thrill ride, It's great.
It is. That's number 3 for you on your list, Rock and Roller Coaster?
Yes.
What do you have for number 2?
So number 2 is not a ride. It is the Star Wars bar, Olga's.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was kind of a fun experience.
It was a nice one. We had a really nice waiter.
What's it like inside?
So you walk in, and I literally thought I was in the Star Wars, like in the Star Wars bar.
The cantina.
Yes, the cantina. Thank you. Forgot what it was called. But it was perfect. It was awesome. I never thought it would be so accurate.
It really was.
I got this drink.
Yeah,
and
describe what it looked like. Do you remember the name of it?
The drink?
Yeah.
No.
They all have these funny names.
It was orange, but then they put this thing in the bottom, so it was bubbling.
Might have been dry ice, something like that.
Yeah, and it was like my drink was bubbling for like a solid 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's cool.
But the drink was really good too. It was hard to drink it since when it was bubbling, it kept splashing into my face, but it was worth it. The experience was great.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad you really liked it. Would you want me to book that again if we came back?
Yes, please.
The only thing we haven't done is the lightsabers there.
No, we did that once when
we did droids. We didn't do lightsabers.
Oh, build lightsabers. Yes, that would be fun.
Maybe next time.
That would be a lot of fun. Yes.
Well, I'm glad you liked that. Maybe we'll book that again next time we go down.
Yeah.
Okay, that was your number 2 for Hollywood Studios. I think I can guess what your number 1 is.
Yes.
Is your number 1 Rise of the Resistance?
It is.
I figured it would be.
Yes, it is.
So talk about that one. Why do you like that so much?
It is it's not even like a Disney ride. It's just an experience. It compared to all the Magic Kingdom rides where it's on a track. This is also on.
It's a trackless ride.
Yeah,
you're right.
It's a trackless ride, and you can go. You're on it with 3 other tracks. Well, not tracks.
3 other cars.
Carts.
Yep.
Yeah. And you're looking around, and you're like, "Oh, that one went that way. Oh, I'm going this way. Wait, should we be going that way?" And
Ratatouille's like that.
Yeah,
too.
Ratatouille's like that. Everyone goes in a different room, and the entire time you're just seeing new stuff. And I grew up watching Star Wars with you, and it was just like it. It was really cool.
It was pretty cool.
And there's 3 different queues you have to wait for. You go into this one room. Oh, you exit that one. Oh, you wait in line again.
You see Rey and BB-8,
Mm-hmm.
and then you see Poe Dameron on the little mini ship there.
All the stormtroopers.
And then you go in the big room with the stormtroopers.
That was.
Yeah, it's a great ride. That's an excellent one for your number one.
Yes.
I completely agree.
It's fantastic.
That's a good one. It just, the problem is it breaks down so often.
Yes, that's annoying.
All right. We're going to move on to Animal Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
Take a look at your Animal Kingdom list, and let's get your number 3 for Animal Kingdom. What do you have?
My number 3 for Animal Kingdom is Pandora. Not the ride, just Pandora.
All of it together.
Yes.
The experience being in the place.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just seeing those floating islands is incredible.
Do you remember when we went down? Oh gosh, this is one of our first times.
Mm-hmm.
It was the first time we ever went to Pandora. Do you remember when we were there at night?
Yes.
Do you remember how the ground glowed and everything was like glow in the dark? Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's kind of a big part of it too. Not many people get to do that because the park closes pretty early.
Yeah.
When it's still light, so a lot of people don't get to experience that.
It was really cool.
You and I figured you would put the boat ride there. I'm forgetting what the Navi River Journey. You and your sister love singing the Navi.
We made a cover for it. It was like all about food or something.
Yeah, you made up words for the Navi language, and you sing it every time we ride the ride.
It was nacho pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. It was
That's
really
right.
funny.
I'm sure we drove everybody crazy that was in our boat.
Oh yeah, they seemed annoyed.
So is that all included, or are you just saying the whole land, the whole experience?
Just like the outside portion.
Okay.
Not like the rides, but just like looking up and seeing those.
Okay.
Just like the attention to detail.
Great.
Was amazing.
Good choice. How about number 2?
My number 2 for Animal Kingdom is I don't know what this is called, but if you go to Rafiki's Planet Watch, you can do this drawing experience.
Oh, the animation experience.
Yes, it is. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, we've talked about that on the show before. A Disney animator will teach you how to draw a character.
Yes.
Do you remember what characters we've drawn? I can only remember 2.
We did Bambi.
Yep, I can remember that one.
And shoot.
I feel like we've done it 3 times.
Well, I think we only did it twice.
And the other one was Crush, maybe?
Yes, it was. It was
We
Crush.
drew Crush?
It was a turtle from the Finding Nemo. That's all I
Okay.
remember. It
So
was
we
one of
didn't
them.
do it 3 times. We only did it 2 times.
You only did it
Okay.
twice.
Then that's why I have that memory of the 2 of them. Do you remember anything else from that? Do you remember meeting any characters?
From Rafiki's Planet Watch?
Mm-hmm.
Did we...
You just said the name of the character that you got to meet.
Rafiki.
You remember?
I remember that,
We
yes.
came out and Rafiki was like waiting for us at the door.
Oh my gosh, he was just like standing there in his like little booth, and then he would like wave to me. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's Rafiki.
And then you and your sister went over and got your picture with him.
Mm-hmm. I love Rafiki.
Now, I think only once we went over and did the petting zoo part. Do you remember that? There's goats.
I do.
Went
Yes.
pet the goats. It was a little hot that day. I think we didn't spend too much time there. I think we went in the summer.
I'm not really a petting zoo guy.
That's okay. Anything else about it? Do you remember how we got out to Rafiki's Planet Watch?
Oh yes, the train. The train ride is a lot of fun,
It's relaxing, and you get to see backstage a little bit too.
and you get to see animals there too,
Mm-hmm.
and just animals that aren't even in enclosures. Just like I saw a couple deers just running around.
Yep.
It was really cool. I enjoyed it.
That's a good one. So the animation experience or animation station or Rafiki's Planet Watch. It's a good place to go. If you haven't been out there before, we both recommend it.
Yes, it's
Now,
great.
Curious what your number 1 is. I think I might know what it is, but I'm not sure. What did you put for number 1?
So, mine was the Pandora ride.
Oh, the Pandora ride.
Yes,
Okay, great.
It's what is it called? The one where you fly in the Banshee? Is it Flight of Passage?
Yes, correct.
Yes.
I knew you would get it.
Yeah, Flight of Passages. It's
Now let's talk about that. Take me through what you like about it. When we enter the queue, talk about the queue, talk about the ride here.
so. Yes, the queue is very long. You'll wait a long, long time, but you'll see lots of cool things while you're waiting.
Yep.
Our first wait while we were doing this, we waited 4 hours
Yeah,
to get on this ride.
that's true.
But
I remember us playing.
Heads Up?
We were playing that. Heads Up is a game where on your phone, you put the phone on your head and there's a word, and everyone else has to try to describe what's on your head without saying the word. And then when you say it, you take the phone and push it forward. It kind of like snap it forward and back. So we kind of did that to kill time waiting for it. Once you get inside a little further, do you remember what it looked like on the inside at all? There's something really cool in this queue.
You end up seeing at one point these shall I say incubating?
Sure. He's kind of
no-
floating in the water.
Yeah, what are they called?
The Navi.
Yeah, the Navi. Yes, they're just in their little capsules, getting ready to have the human's like mind transported into their body.
Yeah, but they pair them together.
Yes, that's what it's called.
They choose an avatar, they call it.
But the actual ride itself is incredible. It's like VR. You're just immersed into this 3D experience, and you're on top of the Banshee and everything, because you can feel like while you're because you sit on these bikes, and while you're on it, you'll feel like the pressure of the wings push your legs back and forth.
Or it feels like it's breathing.
Yes, and it feels like you're actually on like some sort of animal. And the smells, oh my gosh, they're incredible. We got a scented candle.
We got off the ride and your mother purchased the scented candle on
Yeah.
her phone.
Oh my gosh, we still have that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't even think we ran out, but we just have it as like a token.
Maybe that's a good Christmas present for your mother.
Another one.
There you go.
Yeah, but that ride is incredible.
So that's your number one, Flight
Yes.
of Passage.
Flight of
Good choice. I
Passage.
bet that would be a lot of people's number one.
Mhm.
Okay. Now we are going to move over to your number two park. Your number two park is Magic Kingdom.
Yes.
Okay. Let's do your number three favorite thing at Magic Kingdom.
So my number 3 is, I think you would be very good at this.
I would be good at it.
Jungle Cruise.
Oh,
You would be a good skipper.
that's my dream job.
Yeah.
Is to be a skipper on the Jungle Cruise.
You would be a good skipper.
Well, I talk all day for a living. Teachers talk all day long, so I could probably stand there and talk all day, and I would be just fine.
Yeah, you do a great job. I love the jokes. It's there's these silly dad jokes, but they make me laugh every time. I don't know what it is, but they're great.
Do you remember? This was in 2019. 2019, we went at Christmas time.
Yes, I do.
Do you remember what it was called when we went on the Jungle
It
Cruise?
was like Jingle Cruise.
The
Yeah.
Jingle Cruise. Do you remember any of the differences? I'm not. This isn't like a quiz. I'm trying to remember myself what the differences were on the ride.
So I remember there's monkeys go through your stuff, and like what's that one place? Do you have like while
Oh,
you're
it's at the very end. Yeah,
yeah, you just
it
bunch
looks
of
like a gift
monkeys.
shop, but it's not.
Yeah, they're wearing a bunch of
Santa hats.
Santa hats. Yes.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I remember.
I
but
remember
it
there
is,
being decorations and things around in really random spots.
like there was. Remember the big post?
Yeah,
I think that was wrapped in Christmas stuff.
yeah,
But it was cool.
that was fun. I'll have to go back and
liked
I think we have all that on video. We're gonna have to go and watch that video.
Hmm.
Okay, number two. What do you have for number two on your list?
So my number 2 is Mine Train.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Now we just watched. You and I watched a video this afternoon. That
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
Well, we won't get into it specifically, but they basically took Mine Train and did an overlay over top, and they're calling it Wandering Oaken Sliding Sleighs. I had to look that up because I couldn't remember the name of it. It's a little shorter, or it's much shorter of a ride, but
Yeah.
it's kind of cool. Let's talk about why you like Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
I've Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. It's just it's worth the wait. Sometimes, not all the time.
We didn't do it last time. We actually ran out of time on our last trip. We didn't get to do it.
Yeah, we did Space Mountain instead because we thought it was gonna open, but they had to close it for
It was during the
Yeah.
after hours where we got to stay late at night. You remember that?
something was wrong with it, I think. But I enjoy it because it's a fast ride.
Yep.
Like most of the rides in Magic Kingdom are like that, like Big Thunder Mountain and etc. But I've always found it as so much fun when I was on it. But
What was that? That was number 2 on your list?
yes, that was number 2.
All right. What is your favorite thing in the Magic Kingdom park?
My favorite thing in the Magic Kingdom park is Splash Mountain.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping. Well, I think they're basically taking that same ride and they're going to retheme it
Mm-hmm.
to Tiana's Bayou Adventure. And I know you like that movie because you
I
and your
think-
sister used to watch it.
hmm I still watch it sometimes. If I'm bored and I just need something to watch, I'll just be like, hey, I haven't watched this in a while. And I'll turn on Princess and the Frog.
So, were you excited about this retheme?
I am.
Do you think anything's going to stay the same or will it all be different? What are your thoughts? Because no one really knows yet.
I think I don't know. Now that I think about it,
They'll probably keep the same drops and the same track, right?
yeah.
And they'll just replace the characters.
And I think they'll make different rooms though, like at the bottom with the B part and where you end up going up the big hill with the vultures.
Yep.
I think that they will make like what's his name, Dr. Facilier.
Do you think he'll be in the ride?
I think he'll be the villain.
Okay, good.
But I think that the bottom of where like the B part will be his like little layer, and you go
Sure.
through there and you'll see him. It'll like make you go up. And
Do you think during the ride, since it's so long, that it will feature multiple songs?
ooh, I didn't think about that.
Because he has his own song.
Yes.
I'm trying to remember what
Friends
it's
on the
called.
other side.
There you go. I knew you would know it.
I listened to it. It's a good one. It's on
Yep.
my playlist.
So I bet, my guess is there's probably 3 different songs. I bet it would start with just whatever the,
Oh,
an
it's-
average song is.
It's I'm almost there.
Oh, yeah. You're right. See, you're doing really good with this. I couldn't come up with any of these. You watch it more recently than I do.
I watched
So
a
I-
lot of Disney movies.
But I know that there's multiple good songs in that movie. So I think they could use those songs throughout the ride because the ride's so long. Don't you think?
Yes.
Okay. I think that'd be a really cool thing. So you're excited and you're not upset that they're retheming it.
Yes. I'm just confused on one part of it because
Sure.
this is like a big main character in the movie, Ray, the lightning bug.
Oh, yeah.
How are they gonna include him? Like
Because he's so small.
yeah. Are they gonna make
That's a
him
really good
bigger?
point. I'm curious how they're going to do that.
Or are they just gonna put him in his like own room where it's just him, so they can like make him bigger?
That's a really good point. I didn't think of that.
Are they incorporate his song with because he sings about Evangeline?
I'm sure they would. I'm sure they would do like when you drop down and you go into a new part. I mean, I feel like that happens 4 or 5 different times where you enter a new scene that they could do a different song every time.
Mm-hmm.
That could be a really great ride.
Yeah, I think I think they'll come up with something and it'll be very creative and a very cool idea.
So even though Splash Mountain is your favorite, you are just as excited for Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Good.
I wanted some change on the ride, and I think it's going to be very cool.
How would you feel if they rethemed Pecos Bill's Taco Place into a sort of Cajun themed restaurant where they have things
Oh.
like dirty rice and jambalaya?
Gosh,
Because I think that's some of your favorite food.
yeah, you make that food those foods all the time, and I always enjoy them. And I got jambalaya when we went up to Epcot. What was it? The Food and Wine Festival?
Yes, we got
And-
jambalaya from the. No, we didn't get jambalaya.
What
We
was
got
it?
paella,
Oh,
which is kind of similar. We got paella from the Spain, not pavilion, but it's like a little stand or
Trolley,
station.
yeah.
Yep. And that was pretty good.
Mhm.
Let's think. So, well, we got to bring up food a little bit because Cooper loves food.
yes.
He loves talking about food. I feel like Cooper could be a chef.
I love my chicken fingers and fries.
I think one thing that we have in common is that we're pretty basic when it comes to food. Like, that's kind of what makes this podcast fun is that, when Nick is on, Nick is very much into the restaurants and he loves, everything that comes along with food, and that's not as much our thing. And you why don't you tell the listeners how you have a little different diet than everybody else?
Well, I have celiac disease, and I had it since I was 2 years old.
So how does that make our trips different?
So celiac disease is where you're allergic to gluten, which is essentially just wheat,
Yep.
and which is flour, which you can find in lots of desserts.
So what happens when we go and order somewhere and we ask for something gluten-free? What happens?
In Disney.
Mhm.
So they are very good about it, and it's amazing. Like
Who comes out when we order?
well, they bring out the head chef or whatever it's however you call it, but they'll tell you everything that's gluten free on the menu. They're very good about cross contamination, which I love.
I can't even count the number of meals we've had at Disney, and I don't think we've gotten sick once. No one in our group has ever gotten sick.
They're very good about it, and we can trust it.
I know it's pretty good record. But
Yeah.
if it were to ever happen, it wouldn't ruin it. It would just be like, geez, I'm surprised it hasn't happened. One time it wouldn't be a huge deal.
Yeah.
But it's really, I mean, they have a really, really good track record. Okay. All right. Moving on to your favorite park. This is our last one. We're going to move on
Yes.
to Epcot here. And what is your third favorite thing at Epcot?
So my number 3 is Test Track.
Okay, good. What do you like about Test Track? I think I know the answer.
So I love how you can build your own cars.
Yes, and I let you do it every time too.
I don't
You just love it.
I don't even care if it's going to win. I want to make the funniest or the coolest looking car. Last time when we went on Test Track, I'm like, you know what? I feel like building a boat, and I built a boat car.
I think that's when we went on with Nick and Cooper.
Oh my gosh, it was so funny.
Yeah.
That you just look over and you see this yellow machine. People had to ask me if that was a car or not. I'm like, nope, that is a boat.
Yep.
But I got dead last every single category. But hey, I had fun.
It was fun, and that's fine. You had fun making it.
Yeah.
How about the actual ride itself? What do you like about the ride itself besides making the car?
I like that when I actually do try, like when I was a kid, how there's a sense of competition in it.
Yep.
But
Your mother loves that too.
She's very, as you know, she's very competitive.
Yep. So is Nick. Yeah. When Nick and your mother compete, it's always a good time.
It's so funny to watch.
All right. Let's we won't dwell on that too much.
Yeah.
Let's go to number 2 at Epcot. What do you have?
My number 2 is restaurant. It is.
This is your only restaurant on the list?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So this must be a pretty good restaurant if it ends up on my list.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I usually I'm just a chicken fingers guy, but
Yep.
my number 2
Gluten-free chicken fingers.
Yeah, gluten free to be specific. But my number 2 is Tepanettos.
Oh, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So on this podcast, Nick has told the story many times of when they came out and they started making the food. There's a photo of you and Cooper where your eyes were both popping out of your heads because you thought it was just the coolest show ever.
Oh my gosh.
So talk about it. What do you like about it? It's number 2 on your list. It must have made an impact.
So
Tell us about the meal.
Watching this was just incredible. It was just like a half show, half dinner. Like, I mainly wasn't there to eat food. Like, I was just there to watch this guy cook. And he was awesome.
But how was the food?
How's the food? I was adventurous for this.
What did you get? Did you get shrimp?
I got chicken with this mystery sauce. I couldn't even tell you what it was.
Oh.
It was white. It wasn't mayo. It was this weird white sauce. And I tried it. I was being different.
Oh.
Trying something new.
Good.
Don't worry, it was gluten-free.
Good.
It
oh,
was
right,
gluten-free.
because the lady came out. We double checked and made sure that yours was cooked separately from everybody else's.
Yes, but my chicken was very good. I enjoyed it.
What was one of the cool things that they did in the show that you liked?
So they did the famous volcano thing that usually happens. They he would flip.
It's like a
shrimp.
spatula, basically.
Yeah, he'd flip shrimp into his hat, and it was so funny because randomly he'd just see a piece of shrimp and he'd just go, boom.
And put up in his hat.
Yeah, and he at the end there was just like 6 pieces of shrimp in his hat. And I'm like, how are you fitting all the shrimp in your hat?
Did you ask him if you could have that shrimp? Excuse me, sir. Can I have that shrimp?
I don't know. I didn't ask. Just in case if it wasn't gluten-free.
I'm surprised you didn't get the shrimp. You love shrimp.
I do love shrimp, but
You just got the chicken.
I wanted to be different and try this mystery sauce.
Well, I think you like all three. I mean, we had 3 options. We had shrimp and chicken and beef. And you like all 3 of those things.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
But I usually don't get chicken, so I wanted to get something new.
All right, good.
Well,
Did you
except for
share
chicken fingers?
Did you share with your mother or your sister? Because you were on the far end. Because Nick and I were on one end, and you and Cooper were on the other end.
Yeah.
Down by your mom.
Yeah, my mom
Did you
was...
try any of hers?
Nope. I didn't... Well, I took a bite.
Yeah?
I didn't like it, but...
Okay. At
here
least
we
you
are.
tried it, though.
Yeah.
You're giving it a shot. That's good. We have one left.
Yeah, this is the last
This
one.
is pretty good.
And-
I'm happy with most of your picks.
And this is my favorite out of everything in Disney. In
Uh-oh.
Orlando, in California.
Is this also my favorite and Nick's favorite ride?
Yes.
It
Number
is.
one.
Number one.
Number one.
Is
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Cosmic Rewind.
Oh my gosh. It is incredible.
What do you like about it?
So I love, first of all, the queue. Looks really cool.
Yep. You
go
walk in,
through-
and what do you see?
You see, you first walk in, you look up, you just see a galaxy.
Mhm.
And there's like this AI girl just narrating the whole thing.
Yep.
Show you different parts of the Guardians of the Galaxy universe, showing you this planet, Celestia.
That sounds right.
That isn't a planet. I just made that up.
I
I
don't
almost said
know.
Alderaan.
No, that's Star Wars.
Yeah, I know, but it was cool, but not. I don't like it just because of the queue, but it was.
Then you go kind of through the museum sort of thing with the glass,
That was pretty cool looking at.
and then we go in that big room, and the doors close, and then do you remember what happens?
So Rocket, wait, what does happen?
Well, that's when the Guardians of the Galaxy come up on the screen around us.
Yeah, and they're telling us that we gotta fight this alien
Yep.
or something. No, they gotta stop the god, the space god or
Yep.
something, and from destroying a planet. And they're telling us that they need our help. So we go on, and
We get on the ride.
We get on the ride, and also the cool fun fact about it is you have a 1 out of 5 chance to get a different song. Like,
Well, I think there's 5.
Yeah,
there's 5
well,
or 6 different songs.
there's 5 songs.
Okay.
It's Conga, the Run So Far Away one by
Yep. Flock of Seagulls.
yes.
Good. I'm impressed so far.
Oh, Everybody Wants to Rule the World.
Good. Tears for Fears. You're doing
Oh,
good.
Gosh, there's 2 more. There's 2 more.
Yeah.
Oh, the blonde girl. What's her name?
Blondie.
Blondie. Yes.
Yep.
It's shoot. What is it called?
See, I don't want to pause it. I want to let everyone to know that you're actually doing this. and
I'm
you're
thinking
doing
really
well.
hard. It's
You're doing really well so far. There, I'm looking them up over here. I
I'm gonna-
want to make sure we didn't miss anybody. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, let's scroll down and find what the different songs are. So, what did you say?
So Conga, Everybody Wants to Rule the World.
Yep, I Ran So Far Away by Flock of Seagulls. You said Blondie, and that's One Way or Another. We had that one.
Oh.
There's 1, 2, 3. There is 6.
Oh, there is 6? Oh,
There
I was
is,
wrong.
yeah.
Just kidding.
There's 2 more. One of them. Do you want me to just tell you? Because you're very close. It's good that you got 4 and you knew a lot of the groups too.
Oh shoot. One of them's from Trolls. It's
It might be.
It's a month. September.
Yes.
September.
Yes, by Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yes.
Good. And there's one more, and you only knew of 5, so you got the 5 you knew
Okay,
of.
so I don't
And
think I'll
there's
get number
one
6.
that I forget exists too, and that's Disco Inferno. It
I don't know
Burn
that
Baby
song.
Burn Disco Inferno.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't even know that
yes.
was one of them.
I didn't. They
I
must.
thought it was 5 also.
I must have thought they had.
I'm pretty impressed you got all those though. That was good.
Pretty proud of myself
Yeah.
right there.
All right. Well, that's really a good way to end here.
Yeah.
That's a good ending for the show. Well, that was pretty cool. So Cooper got to do an episode. You got to do an episode.
Yeah.
And then your sister's going to do an episode, and Cooper's sister's going to do an episode.
They
Everyone's
are?
going to do their own. We'll space them out so everyone will get to do their own episode. And it's interesting because they're all from a different age group because
Yes.
you're all totally different ages.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of what Nick and I thought would be kind of cool, is seeing it from a kid's perspective.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of fun. So as we close, thanks everybody. Thank you to our Patreon members. Thank you for listening. Thank you to Nick for letting us have the opportunity to do this. This is really cool. And this is, this is kind of a fun thing we can do occasionally here. But you want to close it out for us, bud?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so it's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow, and tomorrow is just a list away.
Tune in next time, and we'll see you real soon.